Hey everybody, Ted Erickson here. I run a company called MyDirectIRA. We help people take retirement accounts, I think IRAs, 401ks, and such, and invest those into alternative investments like real estate. So if you have any interest at all in using qualified funds to be a real estate investor, maybe a private lender, invest in startups, crypto, what have you, anything outside the stock market, stick around. We've got a lot of great insights for you and want to help you. So. First off, I've spoken already to what is a self-directed IRA, but I want to go into a little bit more detail. So, what is a self-directed IRA? In short, a self-directed IRA permits you to invest in alternative assets with your retirement account qualified funds. That's in comparison to the stock, what we'll call stock retirement accounts, with the big brokerages, right? So Fidelity, TD Ameritrade, those big boys. If you call them and say, "Hey, I'd like to buy a rental with my retirement account that I have with you guys," they're simply going to say no, because their systems are built to sell you stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and act as an intermediary for publicly traded assets, right? So, if it is the case that you are looking to be a real estate investor, be a private lender, etc., you actually have to find different providers. The Fidelities of the world will not help you with those types of alternative investments. So that's a key first distinction. Also, another important piece to remember or to know, better said, is all of the same rules about retirement accounts. So things like 59 and a half being an important age where the early distribution penalties go away. Um, 70 and a half for traditional IRAs where RMDs are forced to begin. Investments being tax deferred for traditional IRAs and 401ks. Things like tax-free Roth accounts. All of these same fundamental mechanisms work exactly the same in the self-directed arena. The only difference, again, is instead of holding Verizon stock, Boeing stock, mutual funds, whatever, instead you actually own a piece of property, or you own a promissory note, or you own shares in a startup company. So again, the taxes and mechanics, mechanisms of how are these assets taxed? What is different about operating a self-directed IRA? The only difference, again, is the type of assets you can own inside of your retirement account when you have an actual self-directed IRA. Um, One other thing I'll share is I speak with folks all the time, and it's often the case that I'll speak with someone who has a current, and I use Fidelity as an example because everyone's heard of them. And they say, "Well, Ted, I'm looking at my account right now, and it says I have a self-directed IRA." The challenge is that this term has been a little bit co-opted of late, because I think the term has become more popular, more known, and folks like the idea, generally speaking, of having more options and directing their own investments. So, the big boys have kind of, I think, caught onto this and now kind of state, we offer self-directed IRAs where you can invest in anything you want, publicly traded. So that's the big caveat: is if you have if you have an IRA account with the big brokerages, the Vanguard, the Fidelities, and so on, unless you're worth about $100 million, then they'll make anything happen for you, no problem. The rest of us, the answer is going to be no to, can I do any alternative investments? Can I buy rentals? Can I be a lender? Can I do all these other types of investments with my qualified funds? The answer is you can, absolutely can. You have to go to providers that help facilitate those specific types of investment, right? So that's really important. So to review, self-directed IRAs are essentially the exact same underlying retirement account vehicle where the contribution limits are exactly the same. The rules about withdrawals are exactly the same. Rules about age and lineage in terms of you can pass a self-directed IRA to a beneficiary. All of those mechanics work exactly the same. Again, the one fundamental difference: self-directed IRAs permit you as an individual to invest your funds, your qualified retirement account funds. And qualified just means falls under a tax deferred or tax free plan. So any IRA, 401k, 403b, TSP, all of these are qualified funds. And so if your goal is to take your qualified funds and find a way to invest them into alternative assets, mostly real estate for our folks, cryptocurrency is popular, of course, as well. That's what we do all day, every day. And that's what a self-directed tool is actually for. So I hope that's helpful. I get these questions all the time, so want to be able to provide some insights for folks. And yeah, certainly reach out to us if there's something we can do for you. But that's the long and the short of what is a self-directed IRA? How does it work? Wanted to give you a little bit more detail.